Hello, my name is Kashawn Hopkins. I'm an instructional technology specialist from Oklahoma Public School Resource Center, and today I'm here to talk about Adobe Spark Video. I'm part of the technology team, which Kurt Bernhardt is the technology director of. If you ever want to talk to us about not only this particular tech talk or any of the other technology tools that we try to support and work with and recommend, you're very welcome to reach out to us at techteam@opsrc.net. Additionally, if you want any of these slides, which I highly recommend that you do, I've put in a couple of goodies inside here if you ever want to expand your knowledge beyond what I'm going to talk about here. You can do that through the link below. Remember, this link is case sensitive, so it is t.ly/uppercase PQB lowercase m. So with that, I just want to show a little bit on what's possible through Adobe Spark Video. So I'll play this little clip for us. Hello, my name is Kashawn Hopkins. I'm from Oklahoma Public School Resource Center, and today I'm here to talk about Adobe Spark Video. Adobe Spark Video combines graphics, audio, and text to create simple and professional-looking videos. Students can use Adobe Spark Video to promote ideas, build arguments, and tell a story. I'm Kashawn Hopkins, and thank you for listening to my Adobe Spark Video. Cool. A little 30-second video. I just slapped that together. It didn't even take me all that long. And it's just a combination of images. I recorded a little bit of video clip there. I slapped in some text, and then boom, I made a professional-looking video there. And so this is something that I feel is a very powerful tool, just harnessing the power of being able to create and make videos and integrate different parts of media here. So within this tech talk, here's a little bit of the schedule of what's about to happen. Right now we're in the introduction and we're going to move into the theory phase of this tech talk. I'm just going to answer a couple of questions and build on a foundation on why are we introducing technology? If we're going to spend the time to do it, why are we doing it? And also answering the question, how do we go about it? And so I'm going to try to give answers to that. It's not the only answers, but it is just ways that I'm going to be kind of posing this and giving us a foundation here. Next, I'm going to talk about questions specifically about the tool and then showcase a couple of features of what it's about, just give you some information on that. And then we're going to move into some tool applications. I'm going to use the SAMR model to help out with that, and which I'll explain a little bit more once we get into the theory section. And then finally, we're going to end out with me just sharing the fruits of my research that I've done for this particular tool. And I'll also share a link to an evaluation and answer any questions that we might have for anybody that's here. So with that, let's get going. First things first, our objective, pretty cut and clear. It's going to be right here. We have, after this training, teachers will be able to integrate Adobe Spark Video in their classroom to help students achieve learning goals and acquire 21st century skills. So with this objective in mind, let's break this down in a couple of pieces here. First things first, whenever we're introducing technology in the classroom, keep in mind what is the purpose of what you're trying to do, because you have to spend so much time, so much resources. You have to train yourself, you have to train students, and then you can actually take advantage of some of the features, and then you have to think about assessments. So there's a lot of different ways that you have to think about integrating technology in a meaningful way. But a good place to start always is, what are your learning goals? What do you want students to get out of this? What kind of outcome do you desire out of this? What kind of results are we looking for? And if you don't have a particular learning goal in mind, at the very least, being able to practice some of the 21st century skills as is defined by the National Education Association. So I've picked out 4 of them, the 4 C's here, kind of the main 4 skills there, which is communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. And so whenever I'm picking out tools for these tech talks, I always think about can this tool be used in a way that will promote all of these skills, or at least a majority of these skills? And so as I'm going to go through the showcase part of this tool, try to think of how this helps students communicate, collaborate, do critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity, just express themselves there. So once you're convinced on, okay, I know why I'm introducing technology in here, try to think of how you're going to go about it. Now, this isn't the only answer to it. It's just, I think it's a simple answer. At the very least, it's an easy model to use, which is the SAMR model, which stands for substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. So these are kind of like different tiers on ways that you can integrate technology. And so, like for example, you can use technology to act as a direct substitute for a function of your classroom. You can use it to augment an activity or modify an activity significantly, redesign a task, or completely redefine a task that wasn't available before. And so, I try to work with these different types of integrating technology because hopefully the idea is to transform the way that your classroom works and maximize the amount of gain that you're going to get out of this piece of technology here. So please keep that in mind. I'm going to use those two as kind of like the theoretical foundation of pursuing this piece of technology here. All right. So let's answer a few questions specifically about the tool for today, which is Adobe Spark Video. First question is, what is it? Simply, it's a media creation software that helps build video stories. The whole focal point of this is building videos, building with intention, doing storyboards, putting media together. And it could do quite a bit for your classroom. There are tons of templates that kind of help students get started. It gives students suggestions, and I'll show a little bit of that in the showcase, just to kind of guide what piece of media can you use and how do you use it. You can import videos and photos, but you can also search the internet as well. Bring in there's some safe search features inside of there for your students. You can export whatever videos that you make, you can export it out to Google Classroom. Plays really nice with that. Or you could send it over to Google Drive. You can download it. I believe it's an MP4 file that it does, so it's very versatile. And additionally, you can send it out to social media. A bit of a reference to really any of the Adobe Spark tools. They're all built in mind to take a product and share it out and get feedback and get connected to a community. So that is kind of a large focal point for the Adobe Spark tools. And of course, it works really nice with Chromebooks. There's apps on iPads, and so you can get it really with almost any device in there. It's quite useful. You just work out of the browser there, and it should work really nicely. As long as you got a nice internet connection, it should be able to work. And then finally, the last question, where do you access it? Very simple address. It is spark.adobe.com. And that is where I'm going to transition to our showcase. I'm going to do a little bit of showcase here to show you what does the tool like. What does it look like here? So here is spark.adobe.com, and I'm just going to do just a really quick. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to go to the top right-hand corner, and I could do start now if you want to create your account. If you already have like a Google account or Facebook account, you can use any of those to get logged in. I'm going to go to the top right-hand corner and click sign in. And so there's a bunch of different ways that you can sign into Adobe Spark, Google, Facebook, Apple. You can have just an email address or an Adobe ID if you already subscribe to kind of the Creative Cloud here. But something I highly recommend that you do is set up a classroom by logging in with the school account. A little bit disclaimer for this particular Tech Talk is the fact that I don't have a school account. I don't have access to that. So unfortunately, I can't show you what it looks like for that. But I did include some resources in the goodies that I'm going to share a little bit later. It's quite useful to set up a classroom because of the fact that you can have students log in, join your classroom, and all of their products will be sent into the classroom. That way you can see what the students are working on. And they can log in with a class code, making it really easy for them to get connected to you. So I highly recommend that you take advantage of those features. But for right now, just so I can show you what the functions are, I'm going to continue with Google. Do a real quick login. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. And here we are on the front page. So if you were here before and you've already seen my Adobe Spark post, all of this stuff is basically the same. The only place where it differs here is when I go to the top left-hand corner and I click on the blue plus button here. I have a bunch of options here. There's Adobe Spark, if you're unaware, is actually a suite of tools but I won't have time to get into this. But in the future, I'm hoping to go over the web page function. We've already talked about the graphics functions, like creating a flyer. But for this, excuse me, for this particular tech talk, I'm going to talk about the video function. So let me click on that. All right. First, I need to slap a title on here. I'm going to go with Cool Story Bro. That seems like a great title there, and click on Next. And as it's mentioned over here, this is just the name of my idea or title. I can always change that later if I don't like it. All right. Next is a template. From here, they give you just a couple of options. So this is really good in terms of starting with creating a video with a purpose. You're not just creating something just for it to exist. It's trying to do something. So are you trying to promote an idea? Are you trying to share a story? Are you going to do a little hero's journey or a show and tell? And there's just a couple of more options down over here. Or do you want to start completely from scratch? That is totally fine. If you already have a vision in mind for your video, that's great. But for right now, I'm going to go with teach a lesson. That feels like a really good, like a classroom example, just because of the idea of, I love the idea of students being able to know something well enough to teach it to an audience. I love the sound of that. So building that understanding. So I'm going to pick this teach a lesson template just to show you what templates are about. We're going to give it a moment to set up my slides. You'll see a bit here. Ooh, yeah. So occasionally it'll slap a tutorial on here. You can watch a very short video on there. But for right now, I'm going to say, don't show this tutorial. But I think these are quite lovely if you just want Adobe Spark to give a little bit of explanation here. I think these are quite useful if you're getting your students started and kind of playing around with the Adobe video functions. Okay, here we are. This is where we make the movie magic happen. So we got effectively 3 sections to deal with here. We have the top and right section. So this is where we can adjust the settings and add things in. We have the middle section here, which is kind of, this is our screen. This is where what the audience will see when they view the video. And on the bottom left-hand corner, we have effectively these slides. And each one of these slides has a length to it. And then each of the slides are connected together to form the film reel, as you will. So like, for example, this slide, I can see on the bottom right-hand corner of it, it's going to last 2 seconds. And then if I go to the next slide, if I click on it, it's also going to last 2 seconds. And then add all these slides together and you have the full video there. So pretty nice. And if I want to adjust this a bit, if I wanted to add a slide in, I can always click on the bottom left-hand corner, click on this little plus sign here on the slide, and it will add a slide after the one that I'm currently looking at. Additionally, I can preview my video. There's not a whole lot to preview in there, but I can click on the play button here on the bottom left-hand corner, and it will show the video there. You can hear a little bit of the music there. Okay, so let's start spicing this up a little bit. Let's go with the overview slide here. So right from the get-go, I can see that my template is saying, what will I teach? Why is it interesting or relevant? How will people use what they learn? This is great in mind. You're trying to build with an objective in mind, with something concrete that you're going to share. And so it's giving me that recommendation. And so I have a couple of things that I can add in here. If I click on this little plus sign, I can add in like a video clip. I can add in a piece of text, a photo, an icon. Let's see if do I have any video clips at the ready? Oh, no. Okay, that is fine. I could probably find some a little bit later. Maybe you got a little something in there. Oh, okay. No, I probably shouldn't use any of that. Okay, that is fine. But I can add in a piece of text in here. Quite lovely. And let's go with hello world. A good piece of text. Now, it's easy to add in a little bit of text in there. I can make it smaller. I can make it bigger. Unfortunately, it's not a robust like text editing piece here, but at the very least, you can have it. I can make it small. I can move it around a little bit here. So if I click and drag it, you can see that there is a little bit of an alignment tool just to kind of help myself out. So it looks a little nicer and it will snap into place. So it's pretty nice that I'm able to do any of that. Let's see, if I click on the plus button, I can add in a photo. Let's drop something in there. So I can either choose to upload a photo. I can take a photo right here. In fact, let me slap me in there. So let's go take a photo. Here we are. Oh, it's mad at me because I have the video on right now. Hang on. We can do this. Take this photo. Here we go. Oh, and it's giving me a timer. There we go. There's a beautiful picture. All right, now I'm part of the presentation. I've put myself in there. And so I got a piece of text, I got an image. At the bottom of this slide, I have a big old red button. That means record for narration. So this is when you can add a little bit of audio in there. So let me click on that. And when you do this, you click it and you hold it and you start speaking. So I'm gonna do a little bit of narration. This is my first slide and it says hello world on it. It has a picture of me. And one really nice thing about this is that once I'm done, and I'm like, oh man, that take is terrible. Like, I'm sure you've been in the situation like you're recording a voicemail, and then you record and you're like, ah man, I sounded really dumb or I stuttered on that one. That's totally fine. You can always click on this button again and try again. Hello world. Now this has a picture of me on it. All right. Something to note is on the bottom right hand corner, the length of the slide is adjusted to how long my narration is. So it makes it a little more seamless. You don't have any dead air inside of that video. It just makes it a little more professional on there. So once I'm done with the slide and once I'm ready with that one, I can click on the bottom left-hand corner and click the play button, and that will give me a preview of just this slide. So let's do that. Hello world. Now this has a picture of me on it. I'll take it. Yeah, sounds great. So that is a good way to build a slide out there. All right, let's go to the next slide. I think I've done enough. I've beat this one up. Okay, so I'm looking at this blue and maybe I might be thinking, let me switch the way that this slide looks like a little bit here. So on the right-hand side, I just want to bring everybody's attention to this this section over here. One really nice thing is that on a click, you can change the size and the layout of the video that you're working with. So right now by default, everything's in full screen, but if I want to spice this up a little bit, maybe I want to do a split screen section here, which is great because now I can add two pieces of media here, or I could switch it to a image with a caption on it, so mixing text and images together, or I could click and do a title and text, so two pieces of text there. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can lay out the information. It is pretty simple and straightforward. But I think having kind of a simple interface, just being able to click and make a couple of options here, is quite useful because then you avoid kind of the clutter of building a video that's way too complex. You just have something that's straight to the point and works. So here I'm going to do a little bit of the split screen. Let's do a photo. And instead of taking and uploading a photo, I'm going to search for one down here where it says find free photos. Let's throw a picture of a cat. Oh, adorable. Let's do that one. Let's do a cat there. And for this other one, I'm going to slap in a photo of a lion. We'll say something like, I don't know, cat's transition. And deep inside of every cat is a roaring lion. Something like that. I don't know. There we go. And you can make small little edits here. If you see a pencil symbol here, I see that this photo is zoomed in a little too far. I can click on that and I can zoom out just a little bit there and makes it a little nicer. There we go. Nice roaring cat there. All right, so that's enough of the layouts there. Next are the themes up here in the top right-hand corner. Something that's really nice is that you can change the theme on the fly. So that would be the colors, the fonts, all of that. So if I don't like this title font, I could maybe do an elevated, and this will change kind of like the mood, the mood of your video, or I could go with the focus one, or I could like switch it up to like a flare style. So this really just changes the look and feel of your video here. The next option up here is resize. I can switch from widescreen, which is great for like things like YouTube, like if you want to post it on there, or if you want to put it on the website, totally fine. Widescreen is great. But if you want to use social media in there, like for example, I know Instagram uses squares. You can click on the square option, and now it is adjusted these so it will fit a little nicer inside of whenever I'm sharing any of these out. And then the last feature is the music. Right now I have the music on by default. There's a bunch of tracks here, but you can also add in your own music or adjust the sound or turn the music completely off. So you have a couple of options when it comes to that. All right. Last thing that I want to show off is the top left-hand corner of my screen here. We got the preview button if you want to see the whole video. We got the share button here, which I can't recommend this tool enough just because of the fact that it encourages you to build something and share it out and let other people see it and just build that confidence in having something and sharing it out and just putting it out there. But additionally, you can invite people in here. There's also a separate button for it as well, but you can collaborate with other people. It isn't real-time collaboration where people can have the video up in two screens and they're building it out and someone else can see the changes. But at the very least, you can give somebody access. So if they want to change it while someone else isn't working on it, if they just have some things to work on, you can invite them in there. So kind of a nice collaborative feature. And then, of course, you can download this video. It will process it for you and then download it as a MP4. So pretty nice. All right. Very, very, very lovely features here. All right. I would love to show more, but I do want to make sure that this is really just giving you kind of a taste of what's out there. I want you to be able to explore more a bit later. But now that you've seen kind of some of the features of Adobe Spark Video, I want you to think about the applications. What does this look like inside of your classroom, or what could it look like? So I want you to try to connect what you're doing in your classroom with what these features that you see here. So I'm going to do that under the lens of the SAMR model. And so I'm just giving you a couple of examples here. Like for example, if you want to do it as substituting a part of your classroom, something you could do is build a video, just a series of video clips of what's happening in your classroom. Very easy video project. Just slap it all together, record a couple of clips, and just have kind of a nice thing to share out. Maybe you could send it out as like a part of a parent newsletter thing, or you could post it on the classroom website, something like that. So I think this is quite great. Or you could do just like, end of the year video, something really nice to look back and just have students think about the time that they've shared with you. So I think that's a good one. Next is a kind of an augmentation style activity. So this would be presenting reports by taking advantage of the voiceover image feature. So I think this would be great for like book reports. You could have students, put an image up of a book cover and then have them talk about the plot and themes and maybe a couple of more slides with characters and then just talking about how they interact with the plot, something like that. You could do it for history class, share something about historical figures and have them talk about their lives and how they impacted the history of a country. So there's a bunch of ways that you can approach that. Next is a modification style activity. So this would be creating a tutorial by shooting original footage. So like for example, in the Adobe Spark video we just created, or we were working on that I did in the showcase, I just showed off, giving an overview, setting up an example, doing an explanation, encouraging people to try out the new thing they learn and summarize what they've learned in there. So just, putting the onus and the responsibility on the students on being able to take advantage of the multiple features that you can to build something with purpose. So I think that's a good modification activity there. And then finally, a redefinition activity. So this is a activity that Adobe Spark can bring to life that didn't exist before. So something like this, students could collaborate and build a video to parents and use the voiceover feature to record the video in multiple languages. So this is an idea that I stole from online. It's great. I think it's an amazing idea of just kind of using these videos to access a wider audience. So the idea was build out a video, do the recording in English, then replicate the video and re-record the voiceovers in different languages. So this could be like a good like a welcome video, or this is what we've been doing over this semester video, and just being able to reach more people inside of the audience and just build that community with these videos. And you'll be able to hear more student voices through this as well. And then, students can be in charge of being able to uh, take multiple clips from different groups and build this kind of like larger video project together. So I think that's a really good definition application there. If you've made it to this point, I just want to stop and take a moment and say thank you so much for listening to this Tech Talk. I really do appreciate it. I'm wrapping this up soon. I'm in my last section here, but if you've done this, hopefully you've got the wheels turning on what this tool can do for you, how it can transform what you're doing in your classroom and support your learning goals that you're doing here. But the expectation wasn't to get this all, like cram all this knowledge and have you ripped and ready right now after 20 to 25 minutes worth of me showing this tool off, but just to kind of get things moving. So if you ever want to expand on that, you can always talk with us. But you could talk with colleagues, you can share this out, and you can also take advantage of some of the goodies that I'm about to share. So if you have access to these slides, you have access to these goodies here. So these are things that I found in my research that I think is great at expanding and just kind of expanding the understanding on how to use these tools in the classroom. Excuse me. So like for example, the very first link is being able to set up an Adobe Spark classroom. So this is a nice little PDF. It's made by Adobe. It's quite lovely and clean. And I think this is just a good thing to share and look through and getting yourself started, getting students connected with their accounts. So really good resource there. And there's a couple of more for Adobe Spark Video. This next slide over here is sharing some SAMR goodies. I think these are applicable for any piece of technology that you introduce into the classroom, just keeping in mind putting technology in the classroom with purpose and trying to figure out how is the best way to get the most out of this piece of technology that I'm putting here and spending resources on. So I think these are really good to look at. They give you loads of examples just to see how people are using this in creative ways. And then finally, just a few links to share with you and pass you off with just a huge thanks for coming and listening to this Tech Talk. First of all, the first link that I want to share is the evaluation link. If you've listened to this whole thing, thank you. But also, just please take an extra minute or so to fill out the evaluation. It means a lot to us because that means we get to make these Tech Talks even better. And that way we can give back a more improved version of these to our community here. So it's real easy. It's case sensitive. So the link is lowercase t period ly/GGZ capital K. So if I click on that, you can see it's just a one-page survey here. You click a couple of bubbles, you fill in just a few short answer, and then boom, submit, and then you're completely done. It will not take you that long, I promise. Just in case you've forgotten, I'm Kashawn Hopkins. I'm also on the technology team with Kurt Bernhardt, who is our technology director. And if you want to reach out to either one of us, if you want to continue this dialogue here, you can do it through this email, techteam@opsrc.net. Additionally, if you didn't get the slides before, but you still want them, you can do it through here, t.ly/PQB, a lowercase m. And then finally, one last link to share is our Tech Talk page. So this page is growing with all sorts of resources. So this is at opsrc.net/Tech Talks. So if I click on that just to show you what's going on here, we have our upcoming presentations right now at this Adobe Spark video, but we have Flipgrid and YouTube coming on after the spring break. And additionally, at the very bottom, I'm kind of really proud of this, our archive presentations here. So these are all of the other Tech Talks that I've done. So if you've liked what I've done here, All the videos are there. All the presentation sites that correspond with them, they're there as well. And if you don't see a tool on here and you're like, man, this is a really cool tool, I've enjoyed it in my classroom, and I'd really love to see more of this for this tool, we have a quick Google form on here as kind of a little suggestion box. That way we can build on these tech talks even further by getting feedback from you, the viewers. All right, I think that's it for right now. One last time, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful day.